So I thought to myself, Kick, you used to do a podcast, but you don't anymore. You had a baby, you still play Destiny, and you miss sharing your thoughts with the community. So why not try making some videos for YouTube? And of course, I thought why not start with a non-controversial topic? One that absolutely everyone agrees on and everybody loves. Skill-based matchmaking. That's right, I love skill-based matchmaking.
What? No!
Now, before you decide that I've obviously lost my mind or that I'm trying to troll people, hear me out. I'd like to think that I'm an average person out there in PvP. My KD hovers somewhere around a 1.0 and my skill level has slowly increased over time in Destiny. And while my KD has improved since beginning, it's pretty safe to say I'm most likely never going to possess the skills to be an elite PvPer. And you know, that's alright. I will never forget my first ever Crucible match in Destiny. I hadn't reached max level, filled out my subclass skill tree, and I was rocking a bevy of blues. I entered into a control match with no clue where the control points were at. I had no knowledge of point modification based on control points held, where special and heavy boxes popped at, or how to force a spawn flip. Heck, I wasn't even sure how to identify who I was supposed to be shooting at. Needless to say, I did awful. I died a lot. I mean a lot. I managed to get one kill. I was getting cross-mapped by Thorn, mowed down by Fellwinter's Lie, and head-sniped by spawn campers. I felt utterly defeated, and I knew I did bad. I didn't need anyone to tell me, but hey, someone was nice enough to message me on PSN, "Go back to playing Minecraft, you noob!" I did not re-enter the Crucible for a long time after that. I felt like it wasn't a place for me. Eventually I did return though, and I still did awful. But I learned to set goals for myself. And you can laugh, but my first goal was seriously to get a 0.3 KD consistently. And eventually I did. Slowly I progressed to where I am now. And I think a lot of that has to do with skill-based matchmaking. For me, Destiny is the first competitive shooter I've really ever played. And let me just say, there are some truly amazing people in Crucible. They are high-skilled players. They have spent hours, days, weeks, months, and years building those skills. And not just Destiny, but other competitive shooters out there. I'm not trying to say you can't have a life and reach that MLG FPS PvP elite status, but what I am saying is not everyone has chosen to dedicate as much time as them to hone their skills in order to play at a high level of competition. So that leaves us with two groups. The casual PvP and the competitive PvP player, and different ideologies and how we should experience the game. There are a few predominant ways of separating out how people play any PvP game together. You can have a completely unrestricted casual playlist where you'll just be thrown in against anyone regardless of skill level, and this is usually where people get pub stomped, and those elite players record their highlight reel 50+ kill games. Then, there's a system in which it evaluates and determines based on skill, and matches up players and teams of similar skill levels. So I ask, what did I just describe? Was that the definition of skill-based matchmaking, or the definition of a ranked playlist? This is where the argument against skill-based matchmaking breaks down for me. See, that's exactly how other competitive shooters such as Rainbow Six Siege, Call of Duty, and Overwatch define a ranked playlist. At a base level, these two systems are fundamentally the same. Now, where rank systems differ is that you can see your rank in game. You gain and lose points based on whether you win or lose, or even leave a game early. There are also usually rewards only available based on the rank level you've obtained. Those games often offer a casual playlist where you can go in and dominate or get pub stomped based on a lottery of players available at any given moment. Skill-based matchmaking dictates that you will only play against people and teams that match up to similar skill. What that means is if you're on a fire team with friends that are way worse than you or way better than you, the game will do its best to match you against equal competition. I believe that skill-based matchmaking is the best way for people to grow and learn. As they progressively get better, they will play people that are also progressively harder. At the same time, if you are the PvP elite, well, unfortunately, you're going to be in a much higher bracket, far away from the PvP casuals. Let me take a moment to elaborate on the most common complaints about skill-based matchmaking I see the elite PvPer make. I don't want to sweat all the time. I can't play with my friends. I should be rewarded for sweating my ass off. First off, I don't want to sweat all the time. I want to kick back with a beer and just play for fun. Okay, well, nothing's stopping you from doing that. You just may die more often. You may not be the leader of the scoreboard at the end of every match. So what's the real issue here? Oh, I see. You still want to lead the scoreboard, but you want to do so while drinking a beer. So what that really means is that all of the lower skilled players trying to play and have fun have to die more often so you can enjoy a relaxing game. Got it. Next is, I can't play with my friends because they aren't as skilled as me. Well, yeah, actually you can, and the game will attempt to match you up against equally skilled players and teams. I was an admin of a clan and would regularly have players with much higher KDs and skill join the Crucible events I was hosting. And for the most part, all of those games that we played were pretty evenly matched. Wait a sec, these are the same people saying that all the games should be a free-for-all where they can dominate while inebriated, and now they want to complain because their friends have to face some harder competition and that makes it unfun for their friends to play with them? What happened to you can't get good unless you play against people that are way better than you? I mean, that's like saying that the only way a kid playing t-ball will get better is if a major league pitcher whips a 97-mile-per-hour fastball past their heads. Lastly, I should be rewarded. In other words, it's not enough for me to dominate every match. I want everyone to look at me and instantly know that I'm better than them. Well, you have Trials of Osiris, and you get to go to the lighthouse, you get weapons, gear, shaders, emblems, and that lets everyone know where you've been. I recently said that to someone on Twitter, and I was met with, getting to the lighthouse is so easy. I've been there over 1,000 times. Nice, I've been there 0. I asked, would they be okay with a ranked system in Destiny where players receive emblems and shaders as rewards? They weren't okay with that either. Skill levels should not dictate the availability of weapons and gear to the larger community as a whole. And if that's an issue for you, I'm sorry. It's impossible to make everyone happy. But what about you? Do you venture into the Crucible solo or play with friends? Are you able to have as much fun losing as you do winning? I personally believe that 99% of the community is okay with skill-based matchmaking, maybe just not the more vocal part of the community. Bungie has more internal tracking data than we'll ever have access to, and they're going to do what they can to engage the community as a whole, and keep people playing the game they created. And if that means changing how matchmaking works in the future, that is their decision. But for now, skill-based matchmaking will continue doing its job of protecting the average player's experience. In the end, I hope that maybe you're a little more open-minded towards skill-based matchmaking. Part of what encouraged me to do this video is that I was told that no one likes skill-based matchmaking, that nobody would ever complain if it was cut from the game, and if it's not removed from the game, then all the high-level players would leave Destiny 2. I don't believe that to be true for a second. It is, however, my belief that every Guardian, no matter their skill level, has an opinion. It's that not all of them will share it. I encourage you to be vocal and to get your opinion out there. Whether you want to do so by leaving a comment or sharing this video with a friend or even hitting that like or even the dislike button, that's up to you. Until next time, I'm KickedInTheDestiny 2577, and this has just been one Guardian's opinion.